If walls there were jasper, and if streets were not gold, if mansions would crumble, and if folks still grew old, still I'd see everything I'm longing to see. If cause Jesus, longing to see if Jesus is there, it will be heaven for me. I think that's how it went. I was thinking about that song. And you know, I believe in Jesus, but I believe him too. There's a difference, I think, believing in him and believing him. I believe him when he said, blessed are the peacemakers. I believe him. A lot of people think all you got to do is believe in him, but if you don't believe what he said, don't think about what he said and wrestle with what he said. Like when he said, if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. I mean, this ain't Billy Graham talking. This is God on foot. We need to think about it and wrestle with it. And never let our politics stand in the way of following Jesus. Because I believe him. He said, blessed are the peacemakers. Now, I don't know what it means, but I sure want to find out. And he said, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. Well, you know, I don't care to do that. I don't want to die by the sword or a gun so I don't have a gun. I guess I ought to have a gun, but I don't have a gun. My brother gave me a gun for Christmas one year, a Glock something or other pistol, and it was a 10 millimeter kind of bullet, and so I couldn't wait to shoot it. So I went out in the backyard and we put up a target and I shot it, and then I shot all the bullets up at the target, and I never bought any more because I never thought to do it, I guess. That gun's around here somewhere probably, but I don't know where. I looked for it the other day because my nephew and my brother and his family are in town. They're at NASA right now, and I don't like to walk that much, so I stayed here. But my nephew asked me for it, and I looked for it, can't find it. I hope it wasn't stolen, I don't know. But Jesus said, if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. So we need to know what that means, because Jesus said it. God on foot, Jehovah among us, you know him. The one Mama told us was God, and some of us still believe it. And if you don't, you know, that's between you and whatever you believe in, but I've chosen to believe Jesus is right because I like what he says, and I like how he lived, and I like who he loved, and I saw him loving that woman at the well who was the least of these. I'm telling you, back in his day, that woman at the well was a Samaritan woman, and she'd been married 5 times to the point where she only got her water in the heat of the day because she didn't want to run into the respectable Samaritan women, which Jews wouldn't even talk to. Jews wouldn't even talk to the respectable Samaritan men. They hated Samaritans. And so anyway, Jesus went to the Samaritan woman who'd been married 5 times just to show us that you can't reach the bottom of your well, that he can't find you. And if you make your bed in hell, you'll be looking in the face of Jesus, because the psalmist David said, if I make my bed in hell, you're there. So you can't escape God. He's going to find you somehow. But I don't know what he's up to, but I sure do like trying to figure it out. I have no idea what he's up to, and I have no idea why we don't know, or I don't know, what he meant when he said, blessed are the peacemakers. And so many of my brethren that I was raised with seem to be warmongers And I hate that word, and I hate to use it. But it looks that way to me, and it's scary. If we believe in prophecy, I'm all for it, and I admire you people who can figure it out. I'm trying to understand the Beatitudes, and I can't even begin to fathom Revelations, so I'm just sticking with what Jesus said and hoping that'll help. If you believe in prophecy, that's great, but don't fulfill it. It's one thing to believe in it. It's another thing to go about trying to fulfill it. Let God bring about Armageddon. Let's don't help. We're to be peacemakers. Jesus said it. So, if walls there were jasper, and if streets were not gold, if mansions would crumble, and if I still grew old, still I'd see everything I'm longing to see. For where Jesus is, it will be heaven for me.